the progress, check the progress, check the progress, feeding off the success.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Discretion is advised.
Alrighty there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Chop Shop. I'm your nighttime, right time DJ Music. I'm just going to get straight to the point, folks. I know in that last episode, that upload, I said I wasn't going to talk about the Angryman anymore. Well, you know, never say never. Something always happens and never happens. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, a little confusing on that. But anyway, folks, someone dropped a link to me last night and said, hey, you should pay attention to the stream. Go check this stream out there, music. So I did. And I got to say, folks, I was not going to talk about the Angryman. But this young fella, shout out to Duke and Don. Shout out to a member of the Manosphere calling out their fearless leader for his ain't shitness. Shout out to Duke and Don for pointing out the wrongs in the Manosphere. Because from the most part, when folks talk about the Manosphere, we always talk about the Manosphere from the outside. We always tell what's wrong with the Manosphere. But this young fella, he's one of those Manosphere guys. And I did about 30 minutes of footage from it, folks, and we'll discuss it. I don't want to. If you want, I'll give him credit where credit's due. You folks need to go on over and check out and like and subscribe to man's channel. I haven't listened to him in his entirety, but what I would say, what I've heard from him last night, you should at least go and subscribe to his channel. Help the brother out. If nothing else, this is worth a subscribe. This is worth the subscription. But the thing about this particular video, a lot of things that you heard in the first video, this guy is speaking, he's speaking from a younger standpoint. I'm speaking from the OG standpoint, but it's funny, a lot of the things I said in the first video, he said in his video, in a different way, but we both came to the same conclusion. You can't blame people for your failures. You can't blame people because you choose not to overcome and adapt into a situation. And that's what Angryman was doing. But fortunately, folks, we have a 2-part series on one of his own guys that he even gives credit to. Says, Angryman, you are wrong. So let's get straight to it, folks. Check this young brother out here. Like I said, go and subscribe to the channel, folks. Go shout the man out. Tell him DJ Music sent you. Appreciate those folks that sent this link to me and I listened to it. I had a little internet trouble last night, but I listened to it its entirety. You know, he has a few other interesting points that I would tell you folks that the link will be down in the subscription. I will tell you folks to go and listen to the 4-hour stream in its entirety. It's quite entertaining. But here we go, folks. Check it out. Here is Duke and Don and his analysis of the so-called leader of the Manosphere, the inventor of the Manosphere, the man, the myth, the motherfucking legend. Let him tell it. The Angryman.
Now we have an issue where we're dealing with contradictions and hypocrisies. You know, claiming that what these other people do, these other groups or genders, it can't be applied to us. This is the kind of contradiction that this platform stands against, and we're going to have to call it out. Because there's a whole lot of it going on, especially with the gentleman you saw at the start of the stream. And believe me, it gets worse. But you know what? Listen, I had a feeling that something was going to happen, because he came out with an initial video, and this video really went hard at Kevin Samuels. All right, And for those of you guys who don't know, Angryman is one of the uh, one of the bigger influencers in the space, not in terms of numbers wise, but in terms of the original, I would say part of the founding fathers, if you want to say, of the Black Manosphere.
And he's absolutely right, folks. You got to give credit where credit's due. Angry Man, he did something that you got to say, big ups to you on that. But he went too far. He got too big headed, and that's what this young man is going to point out to you. Angry Man, maybe you'll pay attention from someone else, someone that's not a rival of yours, someone that doesn't have your subscribers in common. I don't have your subscribers in common, so maybe you'll listen to me. Maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. But anyway, let's continue.
The Manosphere space, all right? And part of why he's in the Duke and Don radar right now is because he's been leveraging some serious accusations underneath the surface there that one of y'all, and I see you in the chat, happened to send me a tape of. Now, our good friend here, and I know the reason why, did his best he could to take that video down, that live stream down, where he basically went in on Kevin Samuels, right? The one you saw initially, that wasn't it. That was a little milder, and we'll dissect that one. But the original one that was put up, right? The original one that was put up was very, very scathing, and he made some allegations, said some things that really, it's one of those things that you hear regurgitated around these spaces, primarily around people who are not really familiar with how all this kind of got to be where it is. But his targets and his sight has been set on Kevin Samuels. And for those of you guys don't know, Angryman being one of the originals in this space, right? Kevin Samuels was also one of the ones who basically kind of learned from him, because Kevin Samuels, you guys don't understand, is relatively new to this space, right? And he was one of the ones that was also learning, along with the Donovan Sharps of the world, along with the O'Shea Duke Jacksons, along with all the different people, right? All the different networks he was around before he really caught his stride and then was able to take off, right? And typically what ends up happening, especially with people like this, and you notice these things tend to happen within the Black Manosphere itself, which almost, it's sad to see this stuff, but you see it all the time, right? And it's the topic of stealing content, or stealing verbiages, or someone's using my thing that isn't, that is supposed to be mine, and you're not giving me credit, you're not giving me my due, you're not giving me my ones. Okay, so now we're gonna have a conversation about that too as well, because it seems like right now in the Manosphere space, there are different groups of people, particularly two primary groups. And for those of you guys who've dived deep into the space long enough, you tend to see it being separated either on the educated lames or the Pookies and Ray Rays, right? I'm sure you guys have heard those terms before around this space, right? So, if you
Hold up. Let me speak on that part right there. I let my man run for a minute, but let me speak on that part right there. Angry Man, does it not bother you that they, instead of revering you, they consider you as one of the Pookies and the Ray Rays? It's that nigga that you see on the corner hanging out at the liquor store that they call Pookie and Ray Ray that ain't shit. Is that not a problem to how one of your followers see you? One of the guys that revered you at one time or the other? But he gonna tell you about that. Dare I say, it's like I'm gonna tell you. What's the way that the thing that I'm gonna say this? I'm gonna spoil the surprise for you. He's gonna liken what he heard in that stream, my man, to seeing his hero and found out that his hero wasn't shit. Imagine that. Why my man talk for a minute? I want you to imagine your childhood hero, and you come to find out that your childhood hero was nothing more than a fucking two-bit loudmouth drunk. How would you feel about that? Anyway, Go ahead, my man.
You would ask someone like Angryman, he would be one of those guys that would fall into the Pookie and Ray Ray category. And I wish we would show that in just a second here because, hey, listen, I know you took it down, but we got snippets of it, and we're going to cover that too. All right. And listen, Angryman, this is no dig against you or anything like that, but I want this video to be for you to understand that, listen, from your perspective, you may feel as though that you are in the right, and from your perspective, you may feel as though that you are making sense, and you are therefore on the way on a path of where you need to be. But I want to introduce a little bit of an outside perspective to let you know that from an outside looking in, from someone who's watched your content and seen your evolution to where you're at right now.
And he's absolutely right. From someone from the outside looking in, my man might have met you at a certain time and point when you decided, Angryman, to do content like this. When you were on you weren't on where you're a YouTube influencer at some point in time. But when I met you, remember, you had a call-in show. And I called into your show. I think this was in 2012, 2013 or something like that. I called into your show, and I've had conversations with you. This was when in Sotomayer's heyday. And I think that's the stream that we had in common. That I saw some of your comments, or that you had maybe had a beef with Sotomayor or whatever. So I was looking for some folks to combat what Sotomayor was saying. And at that point in time, you was that voice. I could not get to the point to where this man was sitting on the stream every night complaining about women, and black women especially. And you was the voice of saying, no, not all black women ain't like that, to paraphrase some shit. But you was the champion of the black cause. Like my man says, your content, although it was sporadic, but it was on point. But my man, from when I saw you to when you disappeared, remember, I got to repeat this, folks. At one point in time, I have a radio station. At one point in time, at the first radio station I was the station manager, so I could hire and fire the DJs. I have a person that's in common with Angryman and I, that we met at one of his streams. And I always used to keep in touch with this particular person, and they would always tell me of Angryman's process. So when this particular person told me that he was having problems with his streams from YouTube, I said, listen, I have a platform that he doesn't have to worry about being shut down. The only thing is they won't be able to see him. It's radio. But better things that have come. He can join the team now and help me build the station. I was looking for more black voices. And he disappeared off the radar. So when I found out about this person again, because I was still looking for that young black voice, especially a young male's black voice. So I was looking for someone like this guy that we're listening to right now. I was looking for that particular guy. So I always kept the Angryman in the back of my head. Folks, when I bring people onto my team, I'm very selective. So if I'm looking for you, if you are on my radar, you have impressed me enough. I'm not saying I'm Big Willie style or all none of that. No, I'm not. No, I'm not all of that. But I know who I want around me to help me put the pieces of this legacy that I'm building together. And that's the key word. When I leave this earth, what's going to be behind me? The legacy that I leave. Angryman, is this the legacy that you want to leave? That's all I'm saying, bro. So from the outside looking in, like he is, my man, you fell off. And that's the only way to say it. You fell off. And unfortunately, it's taken me cursing at you. It's taken me cussing you out. It's taken me everything that I could possibly have to reach out to you and say, my man, this can't be who you really are. Again, like I said in that first stream, talking to you is like talking to my sons. Because if I saw my sons out there in the public acting like this or speaking like this, I would call them out and put them to the side. Son, this ain't you. The dollars ain't worth it, man. I got to pay you to type something in your fucking chat. Really? Let's go.
I'll tell you this, Angry Man, this ain't the right look. This is not the right look, because here's the thing. When people in this space, especially the OGs of the space, right, when they start getting into the argument, right, they leave their original argument, or not argument, they reach the original platform, or the basis that they came into this space with, right, the content they were preaching and some of the stuff they talk about. And when they start dabbling into the space of, he stole my content, he's using my things, they're using my things, right, you're not giving me credit. He was able to blow up because he's talking to women. He was able to do this because he's an effeminate man. He's able to do this. He's able to do that. Right? If you end up going to that route, especially as someone who's been in this space long enough to understand this game already, which is surprising to me, right? You're supposed to know that when you start making those arguments, that's literally the definition of falling off. That's like literally how you know you're on the path to falling off. You're not sticking to what got you here in the first place. You're changing.
You see what I'm saying, folks? You're literally falling off when you have to resort to name calling and violence to get your point across. And that's what everyone says about you now, Angry Man. You resort to name calling and violence to get your point across. There is not a person or any prominence in the YouTube spaces that have been around in your circles that you haven't had a beef with. But the sad part about this, my man, it took this folks like this. Actually, you're seeing one of I will guarantee you this, and I'm not too keen on the manosphere and the things that they stand for and the things that they talk about. But this is one of the future leaders of the manosphere right here. I can guarantee you that this young man right here will be the face of the manosphere for all this, and for all its intents and purposes, because throughout this particular stream, you will hear him telling you, we're not having this shit of woman bashing and ain't shitness no more. This is a new day, OG. Shit or get off the pot. That's what he's telling you, and that's coming from a man that he looks younger than you, but he's in your demographics. Y'all listen to the same piper. Like you said, when you dance to the music, sooner or later you got to pay the piper. Like Malcolm said, since you like quoting big folks, sooner or later the chickens will come home to roost, my man. Buck, 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 motherfucker, the chickens are coming home. This is the first of many of these young cats in the manosphere that's going to come after that throne that you so-called, that you thought you had, but you relinquished the throne when you became the court jester, not the king.
You're changing to point the fingers at someone else who's doing better. And better because from where I see it, from my standpoint, and from the guys that I've spoken to so far, the lack of the ability to change. And that's the problem between when the Pookies, or the guys who consider Pookies and Ray Race in the space, to go ahead and come after guys that are called educated lanes. Because if you want to come at it like this, at least people you would consider on that side, like the Kevin Samuels, the O'Shea Duke Jackson, some of these other guys, right, who are on their grind and trying to be something out of themselves, you sitting there clowning that. One thing you're forgetting is that these guys have the ability that you are refusing to learn yourself. And that is the ability to goddamn adapt. We talked about this in yesterday's live stream, man. People who stay where they are and refuse to move are the people who are adverse to change. And that's you. I look at your platform. I look at what you've been talking about. I've looked into the style of how you've done it. Respects to you, and you've been spitting a lot of facts that some of these guys in this space replicate. Putting out there, putting it into, condensing it into bite-sized talking points so everyone can understand what the overall message is about.
And he's absolutely right, Angry Man. That's what the whole idea of being a leader is. That's the whole idea of being a teacher. You want folks to go out and replicate what you have done correctly. I would consider myself a failure as a Marine if I didn't still to this day, that Marines I trained in the 80s still reach out to me, still call me Sarge. I still have that respect from them. They still tell me to this day, Sarge, the shit that you told me some years ago, I hold true to this day. Funny story. I'm going to share this with you. I had a young Marine. He was a Lance Corporal checking into a duty station. Young Marine and I, we went to the head. That's the latrine, the bathroom for the as they call them folks, educated lanes. What the fuck is that anyway? What does that mean, an educated lane? How can you be educated and lame at the same time? Those two don't work. The educated lame. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that shit alone. Y'all figure that out. Maybe I'm just old school. Maybe it means something else. I don't know. Somebody explain that to me down later on. Educated lame. Let that make sense. But anyway, back to the story. So the young Lance Corporal and I was in the latrine, the bathroom, and customary, you give someone the grace of the day. I always say that, either with a head nod or what up or morning. That's the only conversation that you should ever have in the head. But this young Lance Corporal broke that rule. He continued the conversation. I did not say anything. I continued my mission of relieving myself. I washed my hands. I walked out of the bathroom, the latrine. And I told the young Lance Corporal when he came to the other side of the door, I said, look here, Lance Corporal. The next time I got my dick in my hand, don't you say a word to me. And he tells that story to everybody. But it sounds trivial, and it sounds nasty, and it sounds, you know what? But it's the impact that you have with somebody. Sometimes it's the words that you say to somebody and the way that you say them that will last a fucking lifetime. That may be 20, 30, 40, 50 years down the road. Or even the day that you pass, when somebody comes to you, when they get up to say, anybody got anything to say about music? Two words, if I was in the audience, which I probably won't be, two words that I would want to hear somebody say is, or a sentence I would hear somebody say is, I remember when he told me. Because it stuck with them. Now, Angryman, that'll never happen for you. Because guys like this have come out of the woodwork to call you out. It's too late. You can't turn back. You have boxed yourself in. But I'll let him tell you some more.
But when you look at those guys, what you're not understanding is that the particular skill you need for you to get to that particular level is to adapt like they are. See, the problem with a lot of guys who try to be Pookie and Ray Rays, or a lot of guys who are, and especially guys who grew up in Angryman, you're right. You're right. You remind me of homies I grew up with, bro. And the problem with homies I grew up with is the fact that they are averse to change. But not only that, they don't even want to integrate or take their style and tweak their style in a certain way that's going to help them basically become better. No. These guys would rather see that as lame. They'll see you doing something different as feminine, right? And they try to use those as justifications to clown you. And then you look at where you're at, and y'all niggas are still in the same spot. The niggas that you reminding me of, they're still in the same spot. None change. But you know what it is? Turner. And while they're sitting there not changing, looking at brothers like me, looking at brothers like who are similar to me that hung out with them, who are on their way up, who wanted something different with their lives, talking about, oh, he's sold out. He's talking like a white man. He's trying to be a white boy. That's why he's going and working them companies over there. He's wearing them suits. Look at him. Why you working over there wearing them suits, man? How you doing that?
Is the young brother lying? Hell no, ain't. How many times have you, as a black man, you know what? Part of what I do, my brother owns a landscaping business, and I own a landscaping business. Nothing that we just it's seasonal, so you get what you can get. 3 4 months out of the year, you know, if you hadn't worked hard, your harvest ain't gonna be all of that. Some years it's a struggle. We deal with the elements, we deal with rain, we deal with snow, we deal with this, we deal with that, but we still get out there. 10 15 years we've been doing this. You can't tell me that in 10 15 years that this was a mistake or we would have been stopped. That's what my man means. None change, angry man. You haven't changed. And the time that I met you, your change that you did make was for the worse, was for the detriment of you. Because you saw Sotomayor make money off damaging women's reputations, calling black women bitches and hoes and heifers and hyenas, and we're going to get to that in a little while, because I'm gonna bust you out from ever using the word hyena again when in reference to a woman, okay? But again, this young man right here, this future leader of the manosphere, I guarantee this. After this epic takedown of you, I guarantee, wait a minute, I got something for you. I got to give this, because I always got to remind you that every time somebody sent you a cash app and you use this,
Turner!
it was going to come back to haunt you. I told you it was going to come back to haunt you from the very first stream that I did about you, when I found out who that voice really belonged to. And the shit that you talked about that man, the disrespect that you had for that man, the utter nastiness that you talked about the man, you had the nerve to use his voice to profit off of it. You had the fucking nerve. When a DJ leaves my station, Angryman, I do not use their voice again in any promotions. I don't use. I'm gonna take for instance. There was a DJ of mine named DJ Point Man Blank Chain. He was a disappointment to me. I don't use his material. I don't use his likeness. I have no contact with him at all. But I've never gone out in public and dogged him for anything that he did for me or against me. And that's what this young man is calling out on your ass tonight in such a, dare I say, lovely, lovely, lovely way. And so far you have gotten that patented Turner at least 3 times. By Friday, you might be able to see out that swollen ass eye, because there won't be enough ice in the ice tray to stop the swelling that this man is putting on your ass tonight, along with yours truly. Because he's talking from the young cat's perspective. I'm speaking from the OG side. I ain't no easy win, nigga. I'm not one of them niggas that ain't streetwise. I'm not one of them niggas who ain't educated. I'm not a Pookie and Ray. I'm not, dare I use this, educated lame. I'm a grown fucking man.
Not realizing that those are the particular tools and skills that you need to actually adapt and get on in this world. And you say that you're someone who's supposed to help somebody. How are you supposed to help somebody when you yourself is supposed to believe it and you ain't not changed? How you expect the people following you to change if you're not doing it? You're sitting here talking about the same thing, then clowning the man, calling him out his name for what? Changing and adapting the style to make it, to basically make it? Kevin Samuels is doing what Kevin Samuels does. Listen, from one salesperson to another, I recognize something. And as a sales manager, when I worked in the car business, there was a certain concept that I teach my prospects, not my prospects, my sales pupils, right? Let's call them pupils, right? There's a certain concept that I teach them all the time. And those guys who are in sales or been in sales, and you've been in, like, I'm talking about hardcore sales, cutthroat. If you've been in those kind of sales, what you end up understanding is that you steal what you can to make yourself successful. But not only yourself successful, the people in your ecosystem also helps them become very successful. All right? So I would tell them, if you see a verbiage that somebody is using and it worked out for them, take it. If you see a particular style that the person approaches the customer with, talks to them.
Tragic. That's not the first time that's ever been used, Angry Man. But now, because of the way I say it, and because of the way it's presented, now the people in my circle, when they hear the word tragic, not only on YouTube, not only on the radio, not only on in my personal life, that word is now synonymous to me. I've used it enough. I've used it in certain situations where it was on point and my voice projected that word, like Raj from what's that? That's My Mama, when he was on the I Hate Chris show. Everybody loves Chris. That's where I got the word tragic from. You think Raj and Rerun and D gonna come after me and say you can't use that word anymore? Raj had his way of saying it, and I have my way of saying it, if that makes sense to you. And again, this is what this man is pointing to you. As a Marine, we had to adapt and overcome every different situation that was thrown at us, especially in boot camp. You didn't know what was going to happen to you from 1 minute to the next. They brought you into Marine Corps boot camp at Paris Island at night for a purpose: to disorient you. You ran down that aisle with those trash cans beating, screaming and yelling at the top of your voice for purpose: to weed out the undesirables, for those that would make Marines, that those could adapt to the changes that was in there, that now they're used to not being yelled at, or not being screamed at, or not being PT'd, or not being this, or not being disciplined. As a drill instructor, as a Marine, I would have literally broken you. You would not have made it through Marine Corps boot camp in the position that I have seen you in. Number one, you're overweight. Number two, you have that I can't attitude. You have the woe is me attitude. You have the what about him attitude. That's all I've seen about you since I've reconnected with you, so to speak. You don't adapt. You just fall back and lay the blame on your lack of success on somebody else. Well, if it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for this, if it wasn't for that, if was a fifth, nigga, we'd all be drunk.
If you can replicate that and fit it to your style, key word here, fellas, style. We're going to talk about that. All right.
No need to. We just did. Key word, style. That's what I was talking about. The word tragic. Style.
But if you can fit that into your style, do it. Because ultimately it's going to make you successful. See, guys who are guys like Angryman, right? They see those kind of change, they see those kind of adaptations, and they see it as selling out. Oh, Kevin Samuels, you used to talk about this. Obsidian, you used to talk about this. I don't recognize y'all no more. Y'all changed. Y'all now blown up. Y'all blown up. Y'all changed. You used to talk about this. Y'all fake. Y'all phony. Let me call you on your sexuality, which is another combo we gonna get into because I'm damn near sick of that shit. I am sick of this shit, especially hearing this from a fucking OG, dog. You're making the same goddamn argument these females make. Shame, insult, need to be right. You are doing exactly that, and you want to call yourself an alpha male, dog. You want to call yourself an OG. You want to start making arguments about people's sexuality, people's style, people's means of success. And then we look at you and what you've done for the past years that you done been here. The amount of views that you had, the people you done been on with, the amount of falling outs you've had, the reason why you had those falling outs, right? And we dig deep and we realize it's because of your inability to change, dog. It's not. And when you don't change, and you see other people who have the better ability to adapt, change their content, and be better, you look at that and start hating on that. You know, that's hating, bruh. Because other than calling him out of his sexuality and a few talking points that he has had that you're claiming that he stole, there's nothing else. I watched that whole live stream, bruh, before you took it down. I watched the whole thing, and honestly, it was very disappointing.
Did you hear one of the folks from the Manosphere said, I watched that whole stream, dog. And to be honest with you, it was very disappointing. Well, I too watched the whole stream, dog. And as a man, that was very disappointing. It was 2.5 hours of you crying about somebody else's success. And why didn't he give you something? When you call yourself an alpha male, dog, and you're not. An alpha male go out and get. I'm gonna say straight to you. My youngest brother is an alpha male. Cause he's running a debt-free company. He don't owe nobody shit. And been in this business since the early 2000s. He don't owe nobody nothing. He don't owe nobody for a weed eater. He don't owe nobody for a blower. He don't owe nobody for a truck. He is debt-free. How many motherfuckers in the Manosphere can say that? I wish I could say that I was debt-free. Why wouldn't I want to replicate what my brother is doing? Why would I hate on him instead, saying he living in white man's world? Why would all those Marines that still contact me all over the years saying, Sarge, I appreciated that discipline you instilled in me because I still use it to this day. I teach it to my children. Folks talk about me with reverence. They don't talk about me with ain't shitness. Plain and simple. Here's another example. I just got another follower today, and his exact words were, "I don't know how you popped up on my algorithms, but this is my first time listening to you. And what I know about the Manosphere, it's a bunch of guys over there that have no facts of realities about real life. I also listen to your other content. You're spot on." That means if someone else, a complete stranger. But that's one thing about my content, Angryman. It is content. He didn't say rhetoric. He didn't say other shit. He said content. It was spot on. And if you go to my page, if you go to my YouTube page, if you've listened to me on my radio shows with my co-host or when I'm interviewing somebody, you know I do my homework on everything. Everything. But you point fingers at somebody else's success. Instead of figuring out a way, hey man, I'm going to get on. But you know what? Instead of downgrading your success, I'm going to one-up your success. I'm going to be as big as you one day. How you get there? Brother came in the other day, man, I got 3 more new clients. Well, man, how you get them? Not all nigga, that's fucked up. You ain't give one to me? You ain't tell them about me? You ain't tell them your bubba got a landscape service too? Nigga, please.
It's like one of those things where you meet your heroes in real life and you find out that, man, they just as an emotional. And don't get me wrong, Angryman's always had that kind of level of emotion, but this one had a particular sting to it, and I wish he had it up. And don't worry, I caught some snippets to it. Don't worry about it. We'll play some of that. All right. But listen, man. Watching that whole entire live, yeah, bro. That there was nothing else. And here's the crazy thing. You run around here bragging, okay, I told him that. I told him that. I did this. I did this. He's ruined. He's over here feminizing everything. He look at him. Look at him. Look at all these women following him. I told him, I was telling all these other dudes, man, I watch all these female audience, he's going to blow up because of that. And when he blows up, look, I told him, he changed. The manosphere ain't the same anymore. You know what that sounds like? That sounds like some Tommy Sotomayor shit.
Jealousy. I don't want that nigga around me. Jealousy. Or rumors. Look at all them rumors. Did you hear that one about Kevin? Some say he must be gay. If he was high, if he was straight, it wouldn't move that way. Y'all remember that song? Look at all them rumors around me every day. Look at all them rumors. Come on, Angryman. I know you know that song because that's what you are. You're not, like I said in that first stream, you are not a content creator. You are a, dare I say this, a gossip columnist. Not even a good gossip columnist, because your shit is repeatable. It's over and over and over. You're always in an argument about somebody, and the bad thing about it is you repeat other people's shit and then blame other people for using your shit. Because just like my man said, you are in the model of Tommy Sotomayor. Didn't I say that earlier in this stream? That's where we met. And I was going through it, so I heard this nigga on YouTube saying how all black women was fucked up. Ooh, let me listen to this, because I'm mad as fuck at black women right now. Bitch took everything. But after a while, I was like, oh, wait a damn minute. Wait a minute.
Yeah. Tommy Sotomayor, another OG of the space, right? And people tend to think he's falling off. People think he's not. That depends on your thought process. But when Tommy Sotomayor came into this space, y'all remember when he used to talk about black issues, what's going on in the inner cities, what's going on in the neighborhoods. Tommy Sotomayor was dope. He was dope. And then, over time, Tommy started to change, because here's what you got to understand with some of these guys who tend to stay in the same level, right? Who fail to adapt or fail to see how to adapt, right? Or fail to see opportunities. Well, they'll call you an opportunist, right? You're an opportunist. You're an opportunist. Like it's some kind of derogatory term. Yeah, motherfucker, I'm an opportunist. You that damn right I'm opportunist. Goddamn right. Why? Because an opportunist is simply seeing the door of opportunity open in front of you and me walking right through it and finding new horizons.
Again, y'all remember in that first stream where what my definition of success was. Now here it is, another stream that unbeknownst to me, that me and this young brother had absolutely nothing in common. Until Angryman, until we both caught whiff of that video of you sitting in a parking lot complaining about another man's success. It's funny how our words almost mimic each other. It's funny how in 15 minutes we both draw this almost the same damn conclusion. It's in 15 minutes of recording this, man, we both came to the same conclusion. The fuck, Angryman? And wait a minute, before I go any further, you had this cat who come into a stream earlier today defending you. That's your king? The Angryman is your king? You got to be shitting me. After, if you got a whiff of this stream, if you still go back and see Angryman in the same light, you are literally out of your fucking mind. Now you see, you got two perspectives of it. It ain't just me. It was them 200, 300, 400 people in and out that stream last night that everybody damn near came into the same ingredients. This was a bitch ass whining stream. You got no place in the manosphere as the leader. You got no place to call yourself the leader of the manosphere anymore. Now your troops are rebelling. This is called civil war within the manosphere. And this is one of those challengers, those leaders to the throne, nigga. You better wake up and smell the coffee. The day of how you handled the manosphere, so-called yourself as the leader, as the founder, the day that you handled it, day that you founded it is now out of your control. According to this fella right here, the manosphere is not going in the direction that you're trying to take it to. That's only the first 15 minutes. I recorded another 15 minutes and I'm going to get at you. I'm going to call it part 2.
That's what it is. And people who fail to look at that open door and don't walk through it, that's on you. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So how is an opportunist a bad thing? If anything, every single person, not only y'all in the chat, but every single person in this world right now should strive to become opportunities. Kevin Samuels an opportunity. God damn near any successful person in this.
That's exactly what I meant, folks. That was my definition of success. I waited for him to say it. Opportunity and knowledge meeting at the same time. That's the definition of success. When you know you have the knowledge and the opportunity seizes itself, and then that's how you become successful at something. That's how I've become successful at keeping a radio up 24/7. That's how I've become successful at having it broadcast in several other different places, several other different countries, several other different, streams. That 24 hours a day, whether I am live or not, someone is listening to the content that I'm putting out from all different countries. To where some of you guys get 3,000 listeners a day, or 4,000 listeners, or 10,000 listeners a day on your YouTube streams, because that's what you devote yourself to. That's what I get on the radio side. Those same listeners. Some days it's good, some days it's bad. Those days that are bad, I adapt to how I can make those bad days better. Not go out and complain that another radio station that I was affiliated with, or another radio station as a rival, is better than me. I had to point out to some other guys that he talking about I was using his style. I'm like, what are you talking about? I didn't meet you till 2020. 2019. If you go back to 2015, you'll see you did wrong, because I was already incorporating videos into my shit long before I met you.
Manager space is an opportunist. So what the hell are you talking about, bruh? I have to point this out, because although you say some factual shit, and you do, bruh, go back to your old stuff, it's fucking factual. But then when you come in and you start making arguments about people taking your language, first of all, you should be happy about that. That's your message repackaged in a way that can be sold to the mass.
You're absolutely right there. Again, score for a score for the first 15 minutes of this link here, folks. This stream that was going on last night. Again, I'm gonna put the link and to his channel. You can go over again. He stood. If anyone thought he's being disrespectful, he's standing on disrespect, on his disrespect. He didn't take this video down. It's over there. I would have, if it wasn't a 4-hour stream, I would have loved to download the whole thing. But all I needed was 30 minutes. All I needed was 30 minutes to make my point. All I needed was 30 minutes of footage to add on to what I already said, and it's the point is now even more solidified. Big word. That's right. It's all even more solidified by this young fella right here. Am I wrong? Is he wrong? I don't think so. I think he's spot on. Let me, while I'm talking here, I'm trying to, here it is right here. This is part 2, Duke and Don. He's talking about the Angryman. So let's go, without further ado, let's go ahead and continue with part 2.
That's the problem, right? With guys like you, you tend to be big fishes in a small pond. And when the pond starts to get a little bigger and you start to feel a little smaller, and the people that you had around you start to grow a little bigger because they're walking through those opportunity doors that are open for them, right? You start to feel a little small. And that small starts to trigger some insecurity. And those insecurities pretty much triggers misplaced anger. And you're mad at somebody that took what you had and made it better. You should be proud about that. That's your work if you started it. If all the verbiage that you say that Kevin Samuels has right now and he's using right now came from you, which now I gotta ask where you got your shit from. And don't say you made that shit up. Don't say you made it up, because we'll dig. Every idea is a spin-off of something else. We are all standing on shoulders of giants.
You're absolutely right. Again, I told you, Angryman, no kidding. You're looking at the leader, one of the future leaders of the manosphere, because he's making absolute sense. We're all standing on the shoulders of giants. I know I wouldn't be who I am in the radio business if I hadn't gone back and listened to folks like Casey Kasem. If we hadn't gone back and listened to folks like Wolfman Jack. If I had not gone back and listened to Petey Green. If I had not gone back and listened to all these great DJs. If I had not gone back and found out who Chunky A was, if I had not gone back and done my history on music, that I could feel comfortable about anybody asking me a music question. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you or give you the right answer. I don't. It's in this radio business. Either you know it or you don't. But one thing I know about this radio business, it's a business that you have to adapt to. When I first started out, I used to say, you know what, I'm only going to play this style music. Then I was limiting myself. Then I opened up with a little bit more of this and a little bit more of that. And I noticed the more attentive that I was to the different kind of audience there was, I noticed the more and more people started talking about classic R&B Jams radio. It's a good station. Y'all ought to check it out. I had co-hosts. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these ladies, Shaw Willie and Classic Ruby. I used to do interviews with indie artists, all different kind of folks. But I had to adapt. I had to go back and see how people did it first, and I took what was right, what they did right, and adapted it to what I needed to do to be viable, to be in the upper echelons of internet radio. I adapted to every situation. I done had some fallbacks. I done had folks try to steal my station. I done had folks done hit me with copyright infringements. I done had folks sending me cease and desist letters. I done had folks telling me I can't use this likeness because it's a logo and it's all trial and error. I don't go back and send them hate mail, or I don't blame this person for that or this person for that. I don't send in a damn stream and telling you all the reasons why I should be able to use something. I just stopped using it. I adapted. Come on, bro.
And you should be okay with that. But then you getting mad and pulling the Tommy Sotomayor argument. Look what happened to him. That is the argument that basically is a telltale sign that motherfuckers about to fall off.
That's the second time he done said that,
part
bro.
of the reason why we're doing this video is we want to have this conversation about some of these guys that talk about this, right? And I watched that whole live, man. When I watched that whole live, it was so disgusting because you were reminding me of some of these Fresh and Fit dudes. That's why I'm wearing this chain, by the way, right? Your justification of you being real or you having money is the watch you got on in the chain. Nigga, you've been sitting in the same car.
Again, this Duke and Don, we had no affiliation with each other at all. But it's funny how he noticing the same things and saying some of the very same things that I said. Just because, and matter of fact, this guy, I'm gonna mention his name. This cat named James Keel came at me this morning when I was in another stream because I said Angryman ain't all that. Basically, I called you a clown. And he gonna talk about Cam Up. Cam Up for what? But then I thought about who James Keel was. He was this same cat that was on another stream flashing $100 bills, flashing what kind of shoes he got, flashing what kind of clothes he wear. For what? Who was you trying to impress in the stream? The other dudes? Real men don't do shit like that. Don't give a fuck what you think what I got. The 3 F's, and this really only applies to females. I usually only tell females this, but in your case and in this streamscapes, I'm gonna make an exception. The 3 F's is one of the rules I live by. If you ain't feeding, fighting, or fucking, I ain't got nothing to do with you. That's it. So James Keel, I could give a fuck about what you got. I could give a fuck about what Angryman got. But the only reason it comes into play because you guys make it your central issue of why you should be relevant. You think because you flash a gold chain or because you smoking on a cigar or because you got on a fancy watch that makes you relevant, that makes you somebody important. You know how many places you could go to buy replicas of shit? How do we know it's real? How do we know it's real? Can we physically touch that chain and say, oh shit, no, that's Santo gold. Oh no, that ain't no real Boulevard right there. That's a replica. You got that at a bubblegum machine. After you spent the wheel 10 times, didn't you? You won that out of a carnival, didn't you? Didn't you? It's all speculation. Another motherfucker tried to call me out on that shit. Show your work. Nigga, I don't need to show you nothing. Is you gonna come out here and do it? What the hell I need to cam up for? Why do I need to cam up for so another man can inspect me? That can give a determination of whether I'm handsome or ugly according to him. James Keel, and anybody else who come at me with that weak ass bullshit argument. Cam up, nigga. Cam up for what? I ain't dating you. Now, if you a chick that we hit it off a little bit behind the scenes, cam up music. Let me see. Okay, wait a minute. What after I cam up? Is it that serious that we comfortable enough that I need to cam up and let you expose you into who I am really? The fuck? I'm a radio personality. That's first and foremost, other than what I do out there on a personal level to keep myself up in arms or keep myself in the paying the bills. What I do outside that door ain't nobody's business. When I sit down in front of this goddamn computer here, log on to YouTube, log on to a stream and talk about anything that's happening in the YouTube street, because none of that affects on the outside of this door where music resides. So what the fuck do I need to cam up for? What the fuck do I need you another grown man to examine what kind of shirt I'm wearing or what kind of shoes I'm gonna put on? That's some shit I did as a teenager when I was on my way to getting on the school bus in the morning. You wearing that to school? You damn Skippy.
Or maybe you changed the car up. I think you went from a 4-seater to a 2-seater over the years, right? But you changed your car, but you're still sitting in that motherfucker, still talking about the same old shit. You gotta understand, when you're in this game, you gotta treat it like a business. So that advice that Kevin Samuels was talking about the other day that we covered, right? When he was talking to Anton Daniels about following the rules, that should apply to you. You should look at the platform and see how people are changing and realize that the platform on YouTube is changing. And you need to adapt. So as people are doing studios and putting up sets, right? If someone like Kevin Samuels is able to take those concepts and elevate the game to put the suit on. Now I agree. I don't like to put the suits, right? I do it for you guys, and you guys love it, right? So I'll keep doing it, right? But I'd say don't expect it, right? But I do it. Why? Because he's elevated the game. People like that shit. Well, because somebody's wearing a suit, the message doesn't apply.
And again, he's absolutely right. Don't shoot the messenger sometimes. Just because Kevin Samuels is wearing a suit, that don't necessarily mean that he's coming with the right game or the wrong game. It's not how the package is wrapped. It's what's inside that counts. That's usually the part you keep. Most people discard the wrapper unless the wrapper is the center of the discussion. You ever heard the term when you get to the meat of it? Angryman, when you get to the heart and the meat of you're one of those Pookies and Ray Rays that your boy called you earlier. You'll never change. You'll always be sitting on that same block doing the same thing. You don't elevate. You don't adapt. You don't change. You know how many times I've had to adapt and elevate this radio game that I do? When I first started this, all I used to do was connect my SAM broadcaster, have my playlist ready to go, and boom. After my 4 hours were done, that was it. I wasn't worried about anything. I wasn't worried about the radio station and the inner workings of it. I didn't care about whether it was on Facebook until I said, you know what? I can't rely on the other DJ's audience. Let me go out and create my own. Let me let the flair that I have outside, let me bring it to the radio. Folks always telling me, you had the voice for radio, you should be on radio. Let me bring that to the point now where I don't have to spend $10,000-$20,000 for FM radio license to broadcast, where I could spend a couple $100 and use what the internet presents me, sometimes for free. Or the trial basis. Let me try this to see if I want to upgrade to this software or that software or this software. But like my man said, I adapt. It's an adaptation to be in the upper echelon. If I didn't move, do you think I would have the numbers that of folks that listen to my radio station 24 hours a day? If I didn't upgrade my station, do you think if I left the same songs on my jukebox, do you think that folks would stop continue listening? Oh, ain't no sense in going over there. I heard this same song last week. brother man.
That's the stuff that doesn't make any sense. So you're looking at a brother who cleans up the aspects of what you guys talk about, because if we take some of your shit, some of your raw shit, it would never make mainstream. People will hate, they would cancel the space if they heard some of the shit that you've said. If they go back and heard some of the crap that you said, not only your channel, the Angryman, but your other stuff, the conservative channel, right?
I hate to keep interrupting the brother, but he's absolutely right, Angry Man. If the YouTube police really clamp down on some of the hateful stuff that you said, of some of the political rhetoric that you spouted, they would shut you down. They really would. But see, you're one of those content creators that other folks talk about, that thrive. They thrive around this algorithm of YouTube. So you have no choice but to show up. And let's say if I go to this stream over here, sooner or later your stream is going to pop up in my algorithms. Just like the same with this new subscriber that I got earlier today. For some reason, my stream, we had nothing in common until we talked about you. Until he wanted to know who you were. Now, see, there's two ways of using that type of. You can use advertisements like that where people want to know you are for the good or the bad. Most people want to know who you are, about who you fighting with now.
They would come in and try to cancel you, and you know that, bruh. You even talk about, listen to some of the streams where you congratulate the 2 or 3 girls that managed to pop up in your chat or send you Snapchats, right? And I heard you say, oh, well, that's, women don't like to be coming up here with guys like the Angryman. They don't want to come up here and take on the Angryman. They're all scared. But some of y'all women, it's okay.
That double standard shit. Again, I hate to interrupt my man, but I got to while he's talking about it, while it's fresh on my mind. You said that people always taking the manosphere talking points. But I'm gonna give the manosphere credit for this, and this might even hail to you on this: the word strag or the word hyena. You use that a lot to define women. Well, let me ask you something, Angry Man. If you one of those guys that do your research and your homework, do you think by calling a woman a hyena, you calling that a downgrade on a woman? If you look at the hyena society, do you know that the women run it? That nothing happens without that matriarch. Maiden rights, eating time, everything, where we live, how we do, what we do, all based on that female matriarch. And it gets, when that particular matriarch dies, and if she has daughters, that passes on down. Males never run hyena clans. Never. So are you calling a woman a hyena, calling that being disrespectful? Who's the dumbass? Hyenas, males in a hyena clan get their ass beat up all the time. If they step out of line, the whole clan whips their ass. The whole clan jumps on them. Go pull up YouTube and look for yourself. Go look at the hyena clan and see how the males live in that society, brother. Maybe the verbal assassin is the patriarch of the hyenas, because she eats your ass up every time you talk to her. I wouldn't use the word hyenas in the detriment of black women anymore. Now that you know that the women run all hyena clans, and if you know anything about Africa, you can call them scavengers, but 85% of what they eat, they kill. That the number one enemy of lions are hyenas. They don't eat each other, they just kill each other. Think about it before you call another woman a hyena. Dumbass.
So you mad that somebody changed their platform, became successful by tailoring their message to women, right? The crowd that they wanted to help. You stay on that type of and guys, if you think about this, if you think Kevin Samuels is harsh, imagine what this nigga says, right? And according to him, which is there's a level of truth to that. I ain't gonna jack, right? Kevin Samuels got a lot of his stuff from him. He did, right? So when you're looking at that, and you're seeing, I'm sorry, bro. I was looking at that stream, bro. It was so ridiculous, right? So your big argument is because he changed. He leveled up. He upped the competition because this is the space of competition. And you're mad that you have to rise to that fucking level of occasion. And the reason why I was chuckling, I could barely hold in my laughter, is because what is the main thing these guys say about modern women, right? Especially when we talk about dating outside parties. Or not outside parties, interracially dating, right? Oh, the married souls, the Beckys, they're coming up here and they're raising the level of standards of femininity. And black women don't want to compete.
Y'all remember that last stream that I posted? One of the very last things that I talk about, that you heard Angryman say that if you don't, since black people don't get along, go and basically say go date outside your race. But when black women date outside their race, they usually, they cause utter chaos. Paraphrasing, of course. But when black men date outside their race, they end up on yachts and boats, eating lobster and shrimp like that. Did y'all remember that? It's funny how me and this brother, unbeknownst to each other, pick up the same bullshit, Angryman. Again, this is from the outside looking in. I'm from the outside. I'm not part of the manosphere. I don't claim no sets on YouTube. I'll tell you what all this what is this, black pill, blue pill, all this Matrix shit that came. When was the first Matrix? 1994, something like that. Nobody was blue pill, red pill until fucking Neo took the fucking blue pill, red pill, until he beat motherfucking what's his name? Whatchamacallit? The Matrix. The dude at the Matrix, whatever his name was, Agent whoever. Neo became the one. But if you think about the Matrix itself, folks, and I know I'm going to get some pushback for this. Think about Neo. Neo damn near died. If that woman would say, you got to be the one. I'm right. Get up, Neo. I'm right. Remember Trinity? Remember that part in the first what's that Matrix movie when Neo got killed? Was almost just about dying when they were showing him getting riddled by the punches and the bullets and all that other stuff. When the agent was killing him, and then all of a sudden the plug went off, and Trinity said, "This can't. You got to be the one. I can't be wrong." And Neo, all of a sudden, with a kiss of inspiration and passion, Neo he miraculously came back to life and defeated the villain. And we all were saved from the Matrix. Like Carl Thomas said, just one kiss from your sexy lips. Go and find that song by Carl Thomas, Just One Kiss, folks, and y'all see exactly what I'm talking about. I suggest tonight, as a DJ, I'm going to tell you, go listen to that song for me. Go pull up I forgot his name, the guy that sings Bad Mama Jamma, and go look up the song, Just One Kiss. That's what Trinity did for Neo. And that's what Angryman fails to realize. There's no man that's successful without a woman. I'm not successful. In this business, I wouldn't be the level that I am without female co-hosts, without female artists, without female interviews. My Sunday show from about 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock, I'm playing love music. I'm gonna play that for dudes. Yeah, I'm gonna play Keith Sweat, Twisted, knowing I got a fucking audience full of men.
So black women, they just rather stay the same and don't want to change and try to bring them niggas down to their level. Nigga, you sound just like that. Rise to the level of competition. Get the fuck out of your car. Turn off the goddamn cigar, all right? Because it's not really good for your health. And go build a studio with that money you got. You got money before YouTube, right?
Up, Angryman. Wait a minute. Let me give you one of these.
Turner!
Yup. What a patented. Oh, okay, nigga. All right. You one of them six-figure niggas, ain't you? So why don't you have a brick and mortar studio? Why haven't you taken part of your castle and turned it into a home studio? That's what everyone's doing. The other day on that stream that my man's talking about, you went to the bank and you pulled out a bunch of 20s or 50s or 100s or whatever. You flashed it. Why haven't you bought a studio yet? How many times have you told these dudes you've leveled up, but you still in the same space? Basically still in the parking lot. I'm a landscaper, so I know landscaping. I know what mulch, how long some mulch been sitting somewhere. I know when it's put down brand new. I know when it's been there for 6 months. I know when it's about to be washed away. I know when the hedge has been trimmed. All those shit is what I notice from what I do for a living. And he's right. You've been in the same fucking parking lot, in the same car. Well, no, he corrected it. Not the same car, because you did say you bought a new car. You and your chick got a new car, but you still using a cell phone. Even with the equipment that I have, my man, I have to go. I had better headphones, boom microphones, all this different stuff in order to broadcast, folks. If you're gonna take this job serious, and this is for everyone out there, to all the YouTubers that's just getting started. If you're gonna be serious about becoming a content creator, you gotta level up a little bit. You're gonna have to spend a little money. Yeah, there's some things on out there in the internet that you can get free as far as software, but as far as hardware is concerned, you're gonna have to spend a little money. You can't go and get the Office headset and think that you're going to have quality sound when you're talking to folks. You can't rely on, in my case, you can't rely on Sam Broadcaster to allow you to broadcast for free. You have to go and spend $2.99 for that software. But that's $2.99 well spent, $300 well spent. You know why? Because I now own that. I can use it forever. That's an upgrade. The very software that I'm running on, it costs me $20 a month to broadcast live using this software if I decide to broadcast on the radio. Add that up. Virtual DJ is a better way to broadcast on the radio sometimes, especially if I'm doing these type shows. I don't need it to broadcast, but if I'm going to upgrade and if I'm going to adapt to the YouTube world, yes, I do need this. Let's move on.
Where your studio at, bruh?
Where it at?
Why you still streaming off a cell phone, dog? Where your cameras at? Everybody in the space, if you want to get noticed now, it gets tighter. You have to get the best shit. Motherfucker, we were filming on iPhones before we got the cameras. Because we knew we had to elevate the game. We knew what people wanted to see. We knew that if we're going to come into the space, we got to look at the big guys. Look at the guys who are successful. And we have to replicate their model. Yes! Replicate their model. Just like Kevin Samuels replicated what
I hate to interrupt him again, but he's absolutely right, Angryman, because that's exactly what I did. When I decided to build my radio station, build my website for the radio station, I went around to several internet radio stations, and I looked at how they had their station set up, listened to what type music they played. I did all of that. I took notes on the best radio stations, and I incorporated what those top 10 radio stations did and what their radio stations look like, and I replicated into what my style. And it works for me. I didn't steal anything from the radio stations. I didn't steal their monikers. I saw their setup. If they decided to put this on there, if they decided to put a world map on there, or this or that. If you go to my website, it's a multicasm of all the other radio stations that I've visited, and that's been hundreds. A little piece from this one, a little piece from that one, a little piece of this. It's the puzzle that you put together. And how many puzzles that's fun if it's got the pieces already put together? How is that fun to build something that is already built when you get it? How fun is it to build a model car when it falls out of the box? It's already built. How fun would it be to have a radio station that looks just like the radio station across there? Are you kidding me?
You did. And then made it something different with mainstream appeal. If anything, you, of all people, OG, should be able to take that and literally, you should be bigger than what you are right now. And I've heard you say, well, you know, don't you think if I was talking to girls the same way he was talking to women, if I was wearing the suit, if you sitting here complaining and you not taking action, and you, out of all people, are in the best position, the better suit to be able to get there, but you sit your ass complaining, and us young guys, right? Because I would say you being the first iteration, you guys, right? The second iteration being the Kevin Samuels, right? With them bringing the whole female element, right? We're talking about the third iteration coming out. We're looking at y'all, man. We looking for authenticity, dog. So you can sit there and yell and scream and act like you angry. But real talk, it's not making you look like an alpha male, bruh. You sitting there on a 2.5 hour stream talking about a dude who surpassed you.
There you go again. Knocked your ass out. Because that's basically, he is absolutely right. And I said it myself. 2.5 hours you sat on his stream talking about a dude that's better than you. That's doing it better than you. Regardless of whether he took your talking points and used them or twisted them around or whatever, regardless of that, Angryman, the fact of the matter is that whole 2.5 hour stream, by the way, I do have it. You weren't fast enough to take it completely down before I got a hold of it. But you know what? I'm not that kind of guy that's going to share that. I use it for myself. If I ever have to talk about you again, I'm just going to revert back to that stream. That's the real Angryman. That's the real Manuel Dudley, the guy that was sitting in that car that day. You showed your true hand, and here come your loyal subjects, your troops. They had a meeting. They saw that video in real time, and now they're calling you out. And it's exactly what's happening. From the outside, they talking about you, and the inside, the YouTube streets is talking about you, and not in a favorable way. They're talking about deposing your dog. If you haven't caught on to that yet, this is the first wave of the See Angryman videos. This is just the first wave of them. That video is going to circulate for quite some time. You cannot go back from this. Listen to some more.
A student surpassing a master, and you mad because he used your stuff. You should be happy. The
as fast as you can.
is always supposed to surpass the master.
Snatch
if he
the
was your
pebble
pupil,
from my hand.
you should be proud because that should directly reflect on you. But you're going to come up on a stream and demonize the person that you supposedly gave knowledge to? Why?
Y'all remember that movie, Kung Fu, starring David Carradine. I never understood that, why they used. I was so disappointed. I'm going to go back to that a little bit, what my man said earlier. I'm going to back up a little bit. Well, I'm not going to physically back up, but I'm going to back up some thought for a minute. I used to, in the 70s as a child, I remember the movie Kung Fu. And I was so disappointed to find out that David Carradine was not a Chinese man, that he was a white man. I don't know why I was disappointed about that, but it's like my man said earlier, when you find out that one of your childhood heroes is not who he really is. So you were just playing a role, dog. You see what I'm saying? You was just playing a role, dog. Your time is to snatch the pebble from my hand as quickly as you can. When you snatch the pebble from my hand, it's time for you to go. That's what the master told Kwai Chang Kang, David Carradine, young David Carradine, when he was a young boy. He snatched the pebble from his hand and he went on his lifelong journey. The student had finally succeeded at snatching the pebble from the hand of the master. You don't like that to happen, Angryman. You're upset that some of your students have snatched the pebble from your hand. Let me give you this one here.
Turner!
Alright.
Because they surpassed you, what kind of master are you? Who wants to work under a master that don't want to see no nigga grow outside of them?
Not them niggas
That's
selling dick
wild to me,
pills.
bruh. I was sitting there watching the whole thing, dog. Now, I couldn't record the whole stream. I could only do a little snippet of it. Good try trying to fucking delete it, by the way.
I got it,
because you know
dog.
that shit
I got
was
it,
bad.
dog. I got it,
That
dog.
was bad. That was not your good look.
I got the whole
That was
stream,
not.
dog.
But we gonna play it here for y'all too. So
All
here's
right.
a little bit of snippet for you guys.
Wait a
All
minute,
right?
Angry Man.
We
I'm
gonna
gonna shut
do a
up.
little
I'm gonna
snippet.
shut up. All right, I'm gonna shut up.
Hold up.
All right.
Wait a
go.
minute.
All right, you gonna do a roll call right
Wait
quick,
a
right?
minute. First of all, hold up. Let me
All right,
listen
come
to
on,
some
man.
super chats here.
Damn.
I am missing some super chats here. Let me go ahead and congratulate some of the super
Nigga.
chats.
All right,
Fast,
this
and
is
that's
the
one
time.
thing that we gotta have a conversation about because these fools over here. I'm sorry, OG, but I gotta call you that.
All right.
You need a reality check.
Him,
and
right?
nobody else is gonna do
Him,
that.
right? All right.
I guess shit. We
Yeah,
gotta
all right.
check.
You
'Cause
talking about him, right?
You don't own shit.
Right.
No one owns shit. You ain't owed nothing, bruh.
You understand that, Angry Man? You don't own nothing. There's no word in the dictionary that you can lay patent to. If Kevin Samuel just happened to replicate the words that you put together, so be it. He just put it in a different package. Maybe the way you said it, folks didn't like. Maybe you didn't convey the message the same way Kevin Samuels does. So what? Find another message. Find a way to convey the same message. That's up to you. But don't complain that he's successful at it. That's all I'm saying, dog. You with me? I'm trying to help you, brother. But you making it real difficult. But that's the law of the West.
And that's the first thing. That's the first lesson 101 of manhood. No one owes you shit. You supposed to be teaching that, ain't you? So how you failing your first lesson? No one owes you shit. You don't own talking points.
Wait. I forgot. I since he got you up on the screen, I'm sorry I'm looking at the screen, folks. But my man, like Taz said, come on with the beard, really? Are you for real? Remember I pointed out in the first video, folks, remember I talked about, see the difference in the beards? This is what he literally was sitting in the parking lot that day looking like, complaining about Kevin Samuels. As a person that's looking for a sponsor, is this someone you would approach now and say, I would like you to represent me, a product, a company, anything right now? In the current state, knowing that in the last week, this is what this man was up to. You notice notice the things behind you there. Notice at one point in time there's a black SUV there, whatever that is. It turns to white and then it turns to dark. 2.5 hours, angry man. We're both on the East Coast, so I know that you had to be in that parking lot at least from 3 o'clock on. From 2:30 on, you had to be at least in that parking lot because it gets dark about 5:15 on the East Coast now. So you had to be in that parking lot at 2 something in the afternoon. But you call yourself a leader. Why ain't you built you a studio yet? Why haven't you got a set aside place in your residence to where you could close the door and do your YouTube business? I'm in my family homestead and I tell my brothers and sisters, hey, look, I'm going on the air at 7 o'clock. I would appreciate it if you come to the back, knock first. If you hear music, come on in. But if you hear me talking, don't say anything because I'm live on air.
You don't own concepts.
Right.
You don't own that because
Right.
everyone else has had that same thought that you had.
I wouldn't be
You
in
just figured out a way
radio.
to put it into words. And
Right.
Candace
I
Davis
wouldn't
came
be in
along
radio.
to formulate and structure those words so it rolls off the tongue nicely. It's catchy. It's got some style to it. That's all it is. You don't own concepts in people's minds, bro. What's wrong with you? This is the most beta argument I've ever seen. It's so sad seeing your goddamn heroes act like that.
You're absolutely right, my man. It is sad that some of you folks consider this man as a hero. To see your hero reduce himself to this. To see a fella that you look up to. Some of the young men that's 19, 20, 21 years old, 30 years old, look up to this 40-year-old man with a multi-fucking colored beard, complaining about the success of another man instead of getting out and getting his own. That's your fucking king. That's who you stand up for, James Keels. You fucking idiot. You thought you did something at the Purge. All you did really for me, and I'm speaking to James Keel right now, all you really showed me how asinine you really are. You just showed me how the level of stupidity runs deep around you. Living proof that Indian fuck Buffalo. Fuck out of here.
When I talk about the rot in this space, especially some of these guys who are supposed to be the OGs, this is what I'm talking about. You don't own shit. You're not owed anything. That's the lesson number one of being a man. Acceptance. Accept that the world doesn't owe you anything. Not even the people that you help.
Nothing. The world owes you nothing.
And these guys...
You ever heard the old saying, nice guys finish last, angry man? If you gonna loan somebody some money, make sure you don't expect it back. Or never mix business and pleasure. You ever heard those old sayings? Those aren't just sayings, that's reality. Those are facts. Don't loan somebody some money and then turn around and say, I shouldn't have loaned you the money, or don't loan somebody some money, or don't do something for someone, and when it's not something that you've done out of the goodness of your heart, it's now because you have something that you can use as leverage against them to convince them to do something that you need done. Like I said, it's a crying shame that any person just could come to your chat room, listen to you spout the rhetoric that you spout, but don't have the chance to respond to it because they got to pay you. They got to join. Why would I? Give me, Angryman, let me ask you this. Give me one reason right now that I should join your fan club. Give me one solid reason to why I should pay $19.99 a month to come to your chat room while you're doing a live stream to dispel some of the shit that you talk. Why would I do that? Are you afraid that people are going to say that they don't agree with you? You don't feel like reading that? So the only people that allowed to talk in your chat room are those people that will pay to listen to you, that will pay to type in your chat room. You work hard for the money, don't you?
Don't freaking understand. So every time a nigga goes viral, you're sitting there just clowning and hating. You going the Tommy Sotomayor route. You are literally taking the route of falling off. You're not adapting. You're still sitting in the same old car, smoking the same old goddamn cigar. Like, when new people even come to your channel and they see this stuff, what is there to look up to, dog? I see a big nigga claiming bling bling, like he got money, clowning niggas for asking for cash app, then turns around and berates his audience for not giving them cash apps. This is the contradiction I'm talking about. Own who you are, bro.
Yep. Again, he called you out because I said that before. It's funny, Angry Man, that so many people notice the same things. This just happened to be, again, big shout out. You know who you are that sent me this particular link last night. I appreciate that. I really do, because it really solidifies the argument again that I'm right, Angry Man. That I'm right. I don't know you. Like I said, this is not personal. But I'd be remiss if I didn't say this, because you have young black men that's following you. You have young black men that's talking about the Beano Nation, black and name only. You have black men, you have some young black men brainwashed to the fact that, well, you think words don't matter, but they do. They do matter. Remember the Trump trip that you was on? They do matter. I said that in the stream earlier. Consummate idiot. I meant that. I meant that, because that's what you are. It's sad that I have to point this out to you. It's sad that another young man has to point this out to you. It's sad that the verbal assassin had to point this out to you. It's sad that BGS had to point this out to you. It's sad that Bullet Scotty had to point this out to you. It's sad that Rude Hip had to point this out to you. It's sad that China White had to pull this out to you. It's sad that The Beach had to pull this out to you. It's sad that Bomb Cherry had to pull this out to you. It's sad the Classic Ruby had to pull this out to you. It's sad that Cerulean Gray had to pull this out to you. The list goes on. All these folks got one thing in common. Two things, I take that back. Three things. Me, you, and they're all doing better than you. That's what they have in common. That's what we have in common. They're all doing better than you. And you have literally have come like the motherfucker that's not invited to the party saying, I'm gonna show up anyway. Nigga, you will have paid motherfuckers to listen, to get on a stream to talk shit. And now you're being called out. Cock-a-doodle-doo, nigga, the chickens have come home to roost. Cock-a-doodle-doo, because that's what you look like, a rooster in that mother with that red beard. Foghorn Leghorn, I say, boy, but boy, over there in the box. No, I better not look. I just might be in there. Dumbass, knowing that no goddamn way that you could be in that box. It's just the thought mentality of a stupid motherfucker to think that he could possibly be in there. Foghorn Leghorn. Always chastising the widow hen. Or always chastising someone that's smaller than him. or always fucking with the dog just enough, giving him just enough rope that he get pulled back. One day the dog gets loose. Guess what happened? Foghorn Leghorn gets fucked up.
Own it, because I'm gonna tell you this: if you're not gonna adapt to the way the new style of content creation is coming in, because I'm gonna let you know this, OG. The new style is authenticity, and that's gonna win out in the end. So when you're coming out, you're not adapting, you will fall off. Like, nigga, you gotta change. Like, you have to change. That's the only thing that's constant. You staying the same, you doing the exact same thing you're doing right now is working against the grain, bruh. That's why you have fallen out. So, I heard through the grapevine that now this nigga is promoting black men dating Latinas. I think I even heard something to the effect that he literally said out of his mouth, Latinas smell better.
Whoa.
Somebody said that he literally said out of his mouth, Latinas smell better.
Whoa.
Right, I'm gonna give my man I heard this before. I'm gonna give my man time to catch his breath, because literally, even though he heard this before, did y'all hear that? That's why I say, Angryman, you can never go back into black world. Even OJ tried it, but OJ, as famous as he is, he can't get back in the black world. You can't get back into black YouTube, brother. Not with shit like that, not with statements like that. They say Latino women smell better. Well, like I said, I done had the 31 flavors, nigga. And a Latina woman don't smell no different, no worse, or no better than a black woman. She don't smell no different or no better than a Korean woman. Not unless you're riding a 38 Gary and it's full of Chinese or Japanese people, whatever it is, if you're going through Chinatown or whatever, and the 38 Gary runs through the heart of Chinatown, you might get a lot of garlic smell, because, you know, the Chinese eat garlic a lot. A whole lot. But other than that, man, when it comes to the sniff of the scent of a woman, man, it's a personal thing. You know, like a fresh morning dew, new scent of a car. Like I said, my man, if you in a restaurant, and folks, y'all can try this. Don't try this at home, all right? And don't try this with your favorite girl. Next time you go to a restaurant, not during the pandemic, but next time you go to a restaurant and a pretty woman walk by and you go and put your head down, you eat, and see if you don't lift your head up. If she smell good, ooh, you stop eating. Y'all know I ain't lying. Stop it. All right,
And everybody knows.
No, nigga, no.
Everybody knows.
No, nigga.
Matter of fact, you know what? I'm coming with that big dick energy today.
No, my man, I can't let you in yet. I know you waiting, but I know you chomping at the bit. First and foremost, you are talking to a stream that's predominantly full of men. That is not something that you would use when you speaking, that you coming with the big dick energy. What, you about to fuck one of them? You coming with the big dick? No. All right, bro, come on in. No, you don't say no shit like that. Come on, man.
The only motherfuckers in this. Ain't no big dick energy going on here, brother. Ain't no big dick energy going on over here, bruh. There's none. No, none. And yeah, we did have our disagreements with that, and we had discussions about that with what Kevin Samuels says about Latinas. But in the end, it's like you're acting like what he says is law. It's not law. It's just an opinion. And people have similar opinions to Kevin Samuels, and that's okay. And other people have different opinions, and that's also okay, my dude. So what? That's his preference. So what? Or if not, that isn't his preference. So what? But this shit right here ain't nothing big dick about this, bruh.
Right. Ain't nothing big dick about this, bro. And getting back to what my man said, so what? So what if Kevin Samuels comes out of the closet and say he prefers men? So what? To the vast majority of folks, that won't be nothing new. That won't be no earth-shattering kaboom, exit stage right even moment. And that's what most motherfuckers would say. And? Nigga, you thought you told me something new? Because that's the general consensus of most folks on the YouTube streets that say, okay, so it's not no earth-shattering kaboom if he comes out in the public and says that he is. So what? After that fact, if Kevin Samuels comes out and said that he in fact enjoys the company of men, so fucking what, angry man? What does that have to do with how you do business? Especially in the YouTube streets. You don't even have to talk to each other. You could be in California, and the other one could be in Texas, or the other one could be in South Carolina. Believe me, it's been done. I've done it before. I've done it before. We're getting close to wrapping this up, folks. We're getting close to wrapping it up.
I see a whole lot of baby dicks running around here. That's what I see. It was so cringe. I couldn't even, bruh. Oh shit. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. Woo! Matter of fact, you know what? I'm coming with that big dick energy today. First of all, the only motherfuckers in this sector, the only motherfuckers in this space with any goddamn flavor is Double M. Let's just go ahead and get that out the way. Dominate. Let's just go ahead and get that out the way. Dominate. The only niggas in this space with any flavor is Double M. Dominate. Period. Point blank fucking period. Damn near half the sayings that niggas say in here we came up with. The vast majority of the damn terminology gotta be attributed to Double M. So let's just go ahead and state the facts, because I'm going to tell you the truth.
No, I'm going to tell you the truth, angry man. And I'm going to end it on this, folks. I'm going to tell you the truth, angry man. My man right here, along with everybody else who is in that stream, along with everybody else who can form a general opinion, if they go back and see that stream, that 2.5 hour stream, that you have a unadulterated hatred of Kevin Samuels' success. Because you feel that he owes you something. Because he didn't reach back and give you a hand up. So fucking what? So what, angry man? Build your own platform. Build your own categories. Do what you do best. Don't worry about what Kevin Samuels is doing. Don't worry about what the other contents are doing. You ever heard the saying that if you build it right, they will come? This is not being braggadocious, but I started broadcasting from a smart TV. Within 2 songs of me playing, I had 1 listener. Within the 4th song, I had 2 listeners. That was just a test run. And for myself broadcasting and those 2 listeners, they listened to me play music for 4 hours. They went back and they told some friends about that guy that was broadcasting on Groove Shark. And right now I'm the owner of a viable internet radio station. From bringing it from a smart TV to make it a 24-hour operating station. I didn't have to throw no hate mail at nobody. I didn't have to double cross anybody. I didn't have to ask for a cash app. I didn't have to ask for a PayPal. What I had more than anything else was a determination to succeed at what I was doing. I have a love for what I'm doing. I want to share the joy, the gift that I have of playing music. Whether anyone drops me a dime at this radio station or anyone says thank you, that's not the point. The point of the matter is I think that I'm doing right by my listeners every time I get on air and play a song. I hope that the next song I play will make someone's day a whole lot better. And when I lose that flavor, when I lose that funk, then I know it's time for me to go. And over 20 some years, I haven't lost that flavor. I haven't lost that funk yet. Just imagine if I would have, when I started way back in the 80s, if I didn't adapt to what was going on, I'd still be walking around with turntables and a crate full of records. Because that's where it started from. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Angryman, I hope we don't have to go through this again. Oh, and by the way, James Keel, I ain't done with you. If I see you on a panel, I'm letting you know right now, I'm coming up there personally to talk to you. I don't like niggas. I don't like niggas talking shit. I don't like niggas talking about cam up. I don't like that. Nigga, you don't threaten me. Ask the general. Ask any other nigga who thought by saying cam up, nigga, that I didn't throw it back at their ass. What the fuck I need a cam up for, my man? For what? So you can see what? You can hear me loud and clear, believe me. I think my voice escalates enough to where you'll be able to hear loud and clear what I'm going to tell you. And I don't think that you're going to like it. I am not that guy. I have nothing to lose here on YouTube. If they take my channel down from talking shit to you, about you, or to the Angry Man or anyone else, so fucking what? See, with you, if they take away your YouTube, that'll be like taking a pacifier away from a crying baby. Motherfucker don't know what to do with themselves. Because I see you in panel after panel, night after night, stream after stream. I'm James Keels. Nigga, get the fuck up out of here. Matter of fact, wait a minute. Let me find something. Let me find something to give you. Hold up. Let me give something. Let me give you one of these right here too. Here, take this. Yep. Turner! Nigga. Take that. Alright, folks, I'm going to get on up out of here. Y'all have a good one now.